Distinguished directors from the Ministry of Physical Planning and Urban Development, my name is Latif Raji, the Special Advisor to the Government on Information and Strategy. I heartily welcome you here again for another year of ministerial press briefing. The process of telling the world what we are doing started last week, and we've run through as many as about 9 ministries already, if I'm not mistaken. And this very year's ministerial briefing is very unique on its own because it marks the last ministerial press briefing under the administration of His Excellency, the Governor of Lagos State, Mr. Babatunde Raji Fashola. In a way, while we'll be talking about events that have taken place in each of, in the ministry since in the past 1 year, we'll also be doing a sort of a cap on a lot of other issues that are taking place in the past 8 years under the administration. Let me again welcome all directors. There are so many directors, so many town planners, so many architects from the Ministry of Physical Planning. Let me welcome you here. That I was telling my colleague TPL, Tony Ayinde, that he said today, this one is supposed to be his ministerial press briefing. I said yes, but without the Ministry of Information, you will as well do it in your building there, and nobody will know you have said anything. And let me especially thank our colleagues, the press corps, who are here especially to report this event. So, Mr. Ayinde, we don't hold the press conference when we are not there. If you hold it, nobody gets to see you. You have just succeeded in blinking in the dark. Nobody sees you. Anyway, I know you demolish a lot of buildings in the Ministry of Physical Planning. That's what they are needed for. He wanted to demolish Lagos House. We have to stop him and beg him. He said he does not have a paper. Anyway, that's a lighter one. And like I said, it's a very, very unique one. It's going to be the last one for this administration. And we believe everybody here, most especially the press, the ministry has come under a lot of this thing, and today is a very, very good opportunity for every one of us to ask those questions that actually makes the job easier. And thank you very much for coming, and I will respectfully invite Town Planner Oluwatoyin Ayinde, the Honorable Commissioner for Physical Planning and Urban Development in Lagos State, to come forward and put us through this ministerial presentation.
It's sunny, and I'm sure we're all prepared for this occasion. The Special Advisor, Ministry of Information and Strategy, Mr. Lateef Raji, the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Physical Planning and Urban, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It is my greatest delight once again to come before you today in order to present the account of stewardship of the Ministry of Physical Planning and Urban Development after the last briefing held on 20th May 2014. This indeed is my fourth appearance before this august body. How time flies. There's probably no better way to begin than to echo the statement of Charles Caleb Colton, who said, and I quote, "Time is the most undefinable yet paradoxical of things. The past is gone, the future is not come, and the present becomes the past, even while we attempt to define it, and like the flash of lightning, at once exists and expires." When we rendered our report last year, this year, 2015, looked so distant and imaginary, but that future is already here, and I do seize this opportunity to express my gratitude and pleasure to be here before you, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. As rightly stated by Soren Kierkegaard, that life can only be understood backwards, but it must be lived forwards. We're here again to assess what was done in the past year, that is looking backwards, and seek to paint the picture of the future, thinking forward. The focus of this ministry has never shifted from the vision of making Lagos Africa's model megacity. We therefore have pursued with vigor programs and measures that will ultimately lead to the realization of that vision. The primary role of the ministry is to formulate policies that will provide the framework for the orderly physical development of the state. And it has continued to achieve this through three agencies of Physical Planning Permit Authority, Building Control Agency, and Urban Renewal Agency. To appreciate the value that these agencies have added, the segment of this briefing will be dedicated to getting the highlights of their contributions to the collective fulfillment of our common purpose. It is worthy to note that in the past year, appreciable progress was made in all aspects of physical planning and urban development, which are enumerated as follows. Urban regeneration. One of the areas of focus of the ministry is urban regeneration, intended to serve as continuous improvement of identified urban slum areas. This is borne by the need to inject life into some deteriorating parts of the megacity and secure the life of inhabitants, not only by improving their socio-economic activities, promoting decent and quality living conditions of the people, but also to encourage inclusion of the private sector and stakeholders' participation in the urban renewal programs of the state. Some of the regeneration projects undertaken and ongoing include the Agbowa Owo-Ikosi large-scale industrial sawmill complex, This is popularly known as the Okubaba Sawmill Relocation Project. Under the watch of the present administration, the project recorded tremendous achievements, especially during the period under review. Significantly, through stakeholders' engagement, a memorandum of understanding was sealed between the Mainland Sawmillers Association and 13 other subsidiary associations. Construction works commenced in 2012 when the project was handed over and awarded to the contractor Messrs. First World Communities. During the period under review, additional bandsaw sheds and offices were completed. Installation of sheet piles for shoreline protection covering a total length of 700 meters was completed. Sign-off was obtained and fund approved for the construction of the link road proposed to connect the project site with Ito-Ikin-Ikorodu Highway, amongst others. This is a modern industrial sawmill complex that is springing up as conceptualized by government at a new sustainable and enhanced environment away from the present blighted location at Okubaba in Ebute-Metta to Agbowa Owu Ikosi in Ikosi Local Council Development Area. Works are at an advanced stage, and we hope the sawmillers hopefully will move by the third quarter of the year. Teju Osho Shopping Complex. As you all are probably aware, the history of Teju Osho Market goes as far back as 1975, with 2,675 businesses and various complementary facilities. There was a fire incident on a portion of the market on 29th July 2004, while another one happened on the 18th December 2007. The last fire incident was so extensive that it affected 463 shops, 500 warehouse points, and the suspended slabs of portions of the main market. This consequently informed the need to redevelop the market, which was then structured into two phases. Now known as Teju Osho Shopping Complex, its phase 1 was inaugurated on Friday, 15th August 2014, while the phase 2, recently completed, is ready for commissioning. Regeneration of Isale-Gongon phase 1. This perhaps is the first major urban regeneration project, an attempt to revitalize a dying area of the city. The area was characterized by small land holdings vested in families who held to their individual substandard plots, which couldn't on their own be used for any meaningful development. There were 13 families with such limited land holdings that were encouraged to pool their individual family holdings together to support a meaningful and sustainable development that is in consonance with global best practice. The project site is located on Lagos Island, CBD, measuring approximately 2,500 square meters and shares boundaries with Princess Street, Isale-Gongon Street, Isale-Agbede Street, Bilion Street, and Onola Street. The project was conceptualized to be an 11-floor structure with 48 serviced luxury apartments, and the 6th floor was voided and exclusively reserved for the communal use of the participating families. The participating land-holding families will be resettled back to the building after completion. The project, as at the time of compilation of this report, is at the 11th floor and about 76% completed. It is already at the finishing stage and looks possible for completion before the end of this year. The success of this scheme has indeed paved way for a second project in that vicinity known as Isale-Gongon Phase 2, which has been passed by procurement and is due to commence before the end of the second quarter of this year. Adeniji-Adele Phase 1 extension. This project is located along Adeniji-Adele Road, Lagos Island. The entire area consists of 120 blocks of 2- and 3-bedroom flats, each block comprising of 6 dwelling units, spread over an area of about 15 hectares. The land area for the pilot area, known as Phase 1 extension, is 1.55 hectares. The regeneration plan, which incorporates modern facilities, has been approved in principle and awaiting approval for procurement. Based on studies conducted, 5 blocks that showed signs of greatest dilapidation were removed and relocation allowances were paid to the 30 owners or occupiers of the 5 blocks. The area is already cordoned off. Subsoil investigation has been carried out while awaiting approval to proceed to tendering. Further regeneration efforts include houses on water for Makoko community, relocation of the computer village Ikeja to Gatankoa, and the relocation of My 12 Ajelogo and Akanimodo markets to Parafa in Ikorodu. Development planning. One of the major functions of the Ministry of Fiscal Planning and Urban Development is the preparation of fiscal development plans. These plans are the bedrock of every initiative to develop the built environment strategically and sustainably while maintaining order and eco-friendliness so as to guarantee a conducive environment for working, recreation, security, and quality living. As a policy, the state government invested in the preparation of fiscal development plans to impact positively on the citizenry due to inherent benefits therein. The classification of fiscal development plans required for the development of the state includes the following: regional plan, master plans, district plans, local plans, and action area plans. All of these plans at their various hierarchies have different foci and what they seek to achieve in the urban environment. I wish to state that during the period under review, the ministry concluded the preparation of the following plans: Apapa Model City Plan, Agege Model City Plan, and the review of the Ikoyi Victoria Island Model City Plan. However, between 2011 and 2015, 8 physical development plans were prepared and finalized. Determination of right of way. Encroachment on right of ways is one major factor limiting the growth and expansion of major roads and traffic arteries in Lagos State. During the period under review, efforts were intensified by the present administration to ensure the fulfillment of its commitment to improve the quality of life of Lagosians through the provision of road and rail infrastructure. The responsibility of this ministry is to establish and deliver such right-of-ways needed to actualize the desired goals for transportation routes and utility lines such as gas pipelines, PACN and NMDC line pipelines, water and other services free of encumbrance. This is to ensure safety, easy transportation of people, goods, and services. The ministry was able to remove encumbrances and constantly monitor the routes of all ongoing projects in the state to forestall further encroachments. In the same vein, the survey descriptions of the coastal road alignment phase 2, starting from Moshere Gagan area, that is Cheneg 30, to Odeomi area, Cheneg 103 plus 700, have been completed. Efforts to remove encumbrances and erection of physical barriers along this route to prevent future encroachments are in progress. Evaluation and clearance of development proposals. The processing and granting of development permits to intending developers, which has now been fast-tracked by pre-screening of applications, is an area the ministry has recorded effectiveness and efficiency. It is important to reiterate that one of the statutory responsibilities of the state government is to provide development guidelines on applications with a view to granting developers or owners of landed property information on their land in terms of approvable use, maximum height, density, and so on. This role is carried out through the planning information process. During the period in focus, the ministry was able to discharge this aspect of its responsibility free of charge to the public, and it yielded good response, which is an indication that people are ready to embrace change and create order in the built environment. More planning permits were granted compared with the previous year's performance, and the speed also relatively increased. It is pertinent to state that the ministry is also responsible for the issuance of development permits to intending developers, which has now been fast-tracked by pre-screening of applications. Noticeably, there have been several developmental initiatives stemming from the number of planning permits granted, which has fostered physical building construction and development within the metropolis and the suburban areas. Similarly, processing and granting of layout approvals for both private and public estates recorded increased response. Layout plans are meant to guide development and thereby prevent the growth of slums. In order to achieve the smooth processing and grant of layout plan approval, the ministry laid emphasis on the following: compatibility in land use zoning, complementarity of land uses, interconnectivity of estates, and superimposition of layout plans on topographical maps. During the period under review, development plans were prepared for some excised villages with a view to eradicating slums and haphazard development. The ministry was able to set in motion a number of in-house development plans and also employed the services of some resource consultants. Some of the excised villages that have been planned include Ajambadi, Oloti, Oshapa London, Badore, Akparakaja, and Kayetoro. Monitoring and enforcement. We experienced less collapse of structures because it was possible to monitor construction processes and issue certificates of fitness for habitation due to the high level of information dissemination, strict and effective monitoring. Qualitative and responsive services were rendered to the general public. As such, all dangerous, illegal, and non-conforming structures were identified and promptly removed to forestall any casualty and maintain a zero tolerance to building collapse in the state. Amidst all of this care, we had the unfortunate incident of the collapse in the premises of the Synagogue of All Nations, which rattled the whole world. Investigations on this issue are still in progress at the state coroner. It is worthy of note that the level of compliance has increased, and this is evident especially in the aspect of enforcement and quality control. We recently increased the capacity of the agency in charge to be able to achieve more results. As part of the building control process, 42 building insurance policies were verified, 108 court summons were served on properties, 66 of which are still pending, while 42 are already decided. Stakeholders engagement. The ministry recognizes the importance of engaging with relevant stakeholders as a tool necessary for building mutual understanding, creating awareness, and mobilizing support. For policy decisions of government, both in formulation and execution, as well as getting honest feedbacks. It is an effective vehicle for citizens' involvement in participation in governance. The ministry periodically engaged various stakeholders such as residents, community development associations, and professionals in the built environment, artisans, market men and women associations on matters affecting physical planning. During the period under review, such interactive meetings were held at Iru, Victoria Island on 6 August 2014 with the theme, The Effect of Proper Planning in Ensuring Sustainable Development. Another was held at the City Hall, Lagos Island on 26 November 2014 with the theme, Importance of Abiding with Approved Plans, Use of Quality Materials and Qualified Professionals in Building Construction Works. More of such fora were held when we needed to increase the awareness of residents on the need to follow due process in developing their properties, when we needed the cooperation of residents in the acquisition of right-of-ways for road expansions and for urban regeneration projects. We have indeed learned over time that once the stakeholders are carried along and made to understand the intention of government, they easily get persuaded and cooperate to ensure the realization of such projects. We attribute the success attained with our regeneration project to the various stakeholders' engagements. E-planning process. In order to keep up with the pace of the transformation in service delivery and e-governance policy of the state, as well as embracing global best practices in ways of doing business, the ministry has advanced in the preparation to kickstart the automation of the development permit process, that is moving away from the current manual procedure of building plan to online processing. The benefits derivable include applicants having access to online planning permit application from the comfort of their homes 24/7, tracking of permit processing, easy and online archival or retrieval, e-storage or backup of documents, improving revenue drive, guarantee of investment, encouraging fiscal orderliness, safety and security of planning permit documents, easy payment platform to guard against fraud, elimination of rule of thumb, collaborative planning process, and feedback management. Efforts made so far include the public-private participation approach in collaboration with the Ministry of Finance and Science and Technology and some financial institutions to deliver a web portal based for e-planning permit operation, which will be the first phase of the process expected to take off in the Ikeja District Office as a pilot center before the end of this month. This phase is capable of supporting online applications. That is, from your bedroom, you can easily send an application, submit, pay. There will be correspondence interchange, there will be uploading and downloading of design drawings for onward processing for planning permits in the state. As I come to the end of this briefing, which incidentally is my valedictory in the Babatunde Raji Fashola-led administration, I would like to appreciate the greatest inspiration to our performance, His Excellency, Mr. Babatunde Raji Fashola, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, who has supported every physical planning project of this ministry with unparalleled commitment. His penchant for excellence has also helped in raising the stakes of productivity and performance from the entire ministry. It is expedient to recognize the contribution of the entire management and staff of the Ministry of Physical Planning and Urban Development for their dedication and support, not only in the last 1 year, but throughout the duration of my assignment. Of equal importance, I cannot but appreciate the level of publicity received in the past and during the period under review, anchored by our own Lagos State Ministry of Information and Strategy, which has a collection of accomplished professionals led by the Honorable Commissioner, the Special Advisor, and the Permanent Secretary. As of partiality, let me also express my sincere gratitude to the gentlemen of the press for their encouragement and criticisms, which actually strengthened us, and for making it possible for people to know that we exist. In concluding, I urge that as Lagos continues to grow, we can only expect things to get better when we all play our various roles. Like Mahatma Gandhi said, and I quote, "The future depends on what you do today." In re-echoing his statement, I would like to say that the future of Lagos as a megacity depends on what we do today and every other day. Let us endeavor to do things right for a better Lagos. Thank you for
to first of all take the shot.
My name is Tony Abdullah, and I'm the General Manager of Lagos State Physical Planning Permit Authority. Actually, the Lagos State Physical Planning Permit Authority is permanently saddled with the granting of development permits on all physical developments in the state, as well as provide development guides for some exiled villages, among other functions. In the past, granting of development permit has always been challenged with inadequate funding and materials. However, within the last 12 to 15 months, we have embarked on strengthening the development permit process through involvement and collaboration with other government agencies like the Public Service Office, Ministry of Works and Infrastructure, which led to the deployment of registered professionals, architects, mechanical engineers, electrical engineers to the authority so as to strengthen the development permit process. Because this actually is supposed to be a joint venture. When we talk of the development permit process, it's not just a function of the town planners alone. You have other professionals like cartographers and all. So it's a teamwork, but when you get to our office, you know that the town planners there are the team leaders. This is a continuum. So we have been able to collaborate with this staff now coming on board and some other things we have been doing. We have been able to reduce the life cycle of grant development permits to between 6 and 18 weeks, depending on the category of permits being required for and subject to the submission of relevant documents, such as the title document, you being tax compliant with a company or a private organization, because you have to be tax compliant. Because if you are not tax compliant, definitely you don't expect us to give your job accelerated process. Because by being tax compliant, you are doing your civic responsibility, and without that, people like me here, Peter, I'm sure my commissioner here, will not be able to get his salaries. In moving forward, we've tried by all means, like my honorable commissioner said, because prior to months ago or years ago, development permits application were just being submitted without proper screening. And this actually causes a lot of delay. So now we have to have in plan now, or what we are presently doing now, is that the moment you submit your application, it has to go for full screening, both architectural drawing, structural drawing, electrical drawing, and mechanical drawings, before you are given assessment to go and pay, and you submit all your documents. By this process, the issue of files being after submission, having some comments on also is actually being reduced or totally eliminated. And with this, we find out that it has a lot of advantages in the sense that definitely it will save time for the developers who own such property. It's going to reduce cost, loss of payment, reduce the public confidence in us, it will reduce the pitfalls in doing business, and reduce the rate at which we receive complaints and public information. We also tried by all means to make sure we develop ourselves. During the year, we tried by all means to spend a lot on capacity building on all our staff, which is in preparation for this e-charting which we started, the e-processing and other things which are received. Prior to January this year, we have to send applications to Lagos State Inland Revenue Services for confirmation of payments because of the rate of fraud in the state, as well as for the confirmation that you are tax compliant. As of January this year, I'm happy to note that the Lagos State Internal Revenue Services have now set up an office within the Lagos State Physical Planning Permit Authority headquarters at Ikeja. we no more send cards for either for payment confirmation or tax confirmation to the LRS headquarters. And actually, this definitely resulted in eradicating of fraud on taxes and government revenue and speedy development permit process. Like I said earlier, the agency to the Lagos Fiscal Planning Permit Authority were involved in the preparation of development guides. Lower level of plans actually is one of our major core. And to date, I would say we prepared the Agbambadi development plan is ready. The Oloti Village Extension development plan is ready. We are presently working on Oshapa, London, Badore, and Aparakaja, all in Etiosa area, which are all between 70 and 85% completion. And we have in the pipeline to prepare the one for Kayeturu Village, Pesach Village, which already obtained its excellency's approval, and we are waiting for funds. Apart from these two, the ministry is also trying to engage the professional town planners for the preparation of these schemes, because we have well over 300 exact villages where we need this, and the funding, they will be able to recoup their funding during their operating plan and approval processes. And this will definitely help us in eradicating urban slums, the integration and society of human settlements, it assists greatly on infrastructural development, the aesthetic of the environment, facilitate the grant of development permits, and proper economic of land use. In achieving all these two, because we have to link up with our stakeholders. Like my Honorable Commissioner said, during the course of his briefing, he made mention of having stakeholders at Lagos Island and Victoria Island. The stakeholders law was also extended to Ikeja, Oshodi Sodom, Ikeja and its local government LCDAs, Oshodi Sodom local government and its respective LCDAs, Epe local government and its respective LCDAs, likewise Ikorodu and its respective LCDAs. It will be at Ikorodu Town Hall January this year. So, and the main purpose of this is really public enlightenment and sensitization, so that they'll be able to be aware of what we do, and the main essence is to create an avenue for educating the public on issues geared towards achieving a sustainable physical development and growth. We educate the public on the process and procedure of obtaining development permit and the need to engage the services of relevant professionals in the built industry, which is compulsory. And then at the same time involve the members of the public and the stakeholders, the artisans, the architects, those who are building, individuals and corporate organizations, on the consequences involved in violating planning rules and regulations, which at the end of the day leads to the demolition of your property and a lot of revenue lost. Before I round up, I would say that the authority too, in full collaboration with our main ministry, which is the Ministry of Fiscal Planning and Urban Development, as well as the Ministry of Finance, the Ministry of Science and Technology, and the Ministry of Economic Planning and Economic Development, the state is stretching up the e-submission hardware within the Lagos State Fiscal Planning Permit headquarters for public convenience, for proper and submission and approval of development permit through the e-process as enumerated by my Honorable Commissioner. With this, and I'm sure it will start soonest, and definitely is going to start before the end of this administration, if not within the next 2 weeks, because the installation is presently going on at our headquarters by Ministry of Science and Technology and the bank, EcoBank, that is trying to help us to finance this issue, setting it up. So at the end of the day, you'll be able to have your, first of all, you can go online for your e-screening. You submit your application electronically to us with the original portal for proper e-screening. After the e-screening now, we're able to inform you electronically that your drawing is okay. Then from there, you can go on for e-submission. And by the e-submission, definitely you can be able to start your processing. And that's a lot of advantages, like my Honorable Commissioner said, because by the time it's going to give an easy payment platform, which will be by e-payment. So definitely it's going to reduce this issue of fraud. Because I could remember last year there were a lot of issues of fraud in building plan processing and tax issues, running to some amount of money, which the state government precisely dealt with. But that has been a thing of the past. And this e-platform thing definitely is going to enhance such and a lot of other benefits which I don't need to reiterate, which I'm sure is in the brochure they are going to deliver it to you, and these are about 13 to 15 things. In rounding up, we are to serve you, and this is service matter, and there should be a feedback. And we've now decided, and actually last year it was effected, we make sure, because there are cases, people run back to the town planning office, I've lost my approved building plan. It was approved 2 years ago, 10 years ago. I cannot relate to it. Well, that is your responsibility to actually pay. But to move forward, to help the public and help ourselves, we decided to start the gazetting in the Lagos State Government Official Gazette, building permit applications granted. I can say authoritatively as at today, throughout last year, we'll be able to publish all development permits granted between year 2007 and 2013 in the Lagos State Government Official Gazette. And it was also published in the Nation newspaper. We have presently all the development permits granted between January and December 2014, and the first quarter of this year, between January and March, will soon go to take place. Thank you.
My name is